Assalamu alaikum and good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this class. I will be taking you through Module 7 titled Managing Transition from Start Up to Growth. So in this module, we'll be discussing what are the steps and one takes it when to transit a business from small to bigger business. And we're going to look at other issues related to this. We're going to look at some models of and theories of growing a business. And we're going to see some of the challenges, either personal, environmental, that have hampered somebody from growing his small business from start to bigger business or large business. So when you listen and you see my name, Muaz, I remember Muaz. So introduction. Just as human, businesses have life cycle, which is characterized by ups and downs, which means change. So just like humans, you are one time a kid and now you are grown up. So change has taken place, and your life. For those of us that are not alive, we don't talk about them no more, and they are not doing any activity in this world. So businesses like humans. They are characterized by ups and downs, and some make profit today and they make loss tomorrow. It's normal in business. So human business life cycle, you start, you grow, you big, you become old, and sometimes you die. But in most cases, business, we don't allow it to die, to reinvent itself, meaning that it will go again and again and again. And there are businesses in this world that are about 500-700 years ago, some even 1,000 years ago. So this is business. So the owners die and the business continue because they develop and build structures. So change is a constant thing in this world, and it must happen. So what will happen must happen. So not all humans realize their full potential just as ventures. Some businesses will start and die early, just like human beings. Some of them at the time of birth they will die. Some will grow. Some will reach old age. Some will reach 100+ years. And some 50 years, some 40 years, and then they die. So with all dreams in their heart, in their minds. And so the same thing with business. Every business starts with not the purpose of dying tomorrow or next tomorrow. They want to perpetuate and grow over time and become a bigger company. That's the ambition. And most big companies you've seen today, they started just small and now they're a bigger company. Because that's the aspiration for every businessman. Entrepreneurs start business with the aspiration of becoming global companies, international businesses. So managing business transition enables an entrepreneur to move his venture from one state to another, thereby realizing both personal and business potentials. So business potential. So managing transition enables an entrepreneur to move his venture from one state to another, thereby realizing both personal and business potential. Just like humans, you started primary school and you aspire to become a graduate tomorrow or become a PhD holder, or to become a professor. So with these aspirations, you'll be working towards that. And how do you start? By doing well in the school and passing all the examinations, passing JAM, passing WAEG, and then enter university. Making sure you have bigger grades, and so that you come for masters. After masters, you graduate with good grades, and then it takes you to PhD. So transition, and that's a typical example of transition. Some businesses start with one shop, and tomorrow bigger shop, 3, 4, 5, and they are everywhere. Before you know it, they are everywhere in the country. Businesses around us, we've seen a lot of. So transition to greatness is very difficult, just like this elephant on a cable. So the possibility of that elephant falling the other side is equal to what happened to business. So some businesses will start by a third month, they close up. Some businesses will start by 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and at most 1 year, they are no more. So it's very difficult to transit from small to large business. And it's as difficult as you can see this elephant crossing on this simple cable. It's very heavy. It requires a lot of tactics. It requires a lot of balance and control and trial. Maybe he has tried several times before he can come to this stage. So to transit a business from small to large business is very difficult. It requires a lot of energy and expertise. It requires a lot of capacity and commitment to excellence, to do the best and to make customers happy and to continuously innovate, and that will take you to the next level. So that's the aspiration of every business, and therefore, and that is why this module is talking about the transition. So it's the expectation of the school, of the university, that at this stage, and which is the last module, you have a plan in your heart. You have a plan of starting your business, and then how can you build it and make it work. So the basic element of business transition includes planning, decision making, business control, self-discipline, and handling stress and pressure. So these are some of the basic elements that one needs when he wants to transit his business from small to large business. So transition is very difficult. So there's this saying that says failing to plan is planning to fail. So planning means having a vision and developing a business plan. Vision is the aspiration. Where do you want to see yourself or your business tomorrow, next year, and the next 10 years? That's the vision. And that you define a mission that will take you through to achieve your vision. And all those things are documented in your business plan. A business plan is those documents. And this is strategy, where tactics or strategies or approaches are documented and assuming that this is how things are going to work. On a good day, this is how we're going to work. On a bad day, this is our second plan. So business plan detail all explanation, location of your business, who are your customers, what value are you offering, what service are you offering, product or service, who are your competitors. Everything you think about your business is contained in business plan. And that is why there is a particular discussion that will detail business plan. So it's very important for business to have a planning. So there's this saying says failing to plan is planning to fail. So decision making, the next one is decision making. A lot of people go to hellfire simply because of wrong decision. So decision, all these worldly things is centered around decision. It is your decision to attend this class. It is your decision not to come to class. It is a decision. Nobody would force you to go to university or to be well behave in a society. It is people's decision to start drinking alcohol. God forbid. So people choose what they want to become. At times, somebody who don't want to come to school simply because he doesn't want to come to school. That's his decision. But some people choose to do business, and that decision. So decision is taking the most promising alternative among so many options, choices that you have around you. So making the right choice is very important in business. So taking decision, be in charge, know what is right, know when you need to do that action, you know when not to do any certain things, and know when to do certain things in order to make your business grow or transit. So you have to be a strong decision maker. So when it comes to transition, when you decide that we are producing this product and this is the quality, and you follow the market, if you decide, just go ahead. If you decide not to do, make sure you check all the parameters to see whether not doing cannot harm the business or doing it cannot harm the business. And that's why they said it's better to consider pro and cons. What will be the effect? What will be the consequence should you not do that certain things and before you take decision? So decision is very important. So business control is also very important. What is business control? Your ability to know, to be acquainted with all the happenings in the business. You are in the shop, you are not in the shop, you should be abreast of what is happening. You should be in charge of financial and non-financial control. You should know what comes into the business and know what goes out to the business. You know who takes the money out and who collect what and when would he pay, when did he pay. That's absolute control of the business. And you might decide not to give credit to some people because of their credit worthiness are dropped. And there's no shame. There's no shame of saying somebody, no, I'm not going to sell this things on credit to you. No shame. It's better to tell the truth than to blame him behind the scene. And at the end of the day, the business, when the business crash, you'll be looking for where to helter-skelter or to raise another capital to start business. So business control is very important. Financial and non-financial control. When you are the business owner, you make sure you open the shop. If it is a shop, If it's a manufacturing, when the time to produce and when the time to close, the time to service machines, you need to know. You are there to them. So financial and non-financial control. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is part of self-discipline that will tell you not to do certain things because they are immoral in the society. Because your mother, nobody is seeing you, it's only God that is seeing you, but then sometimes you are alone and you commit crime. And sometimes you are with people, you commit crime. So it's that self-discipline that will tell you, this is my business, I need to make it work. This is my life, and I've invested a lot, my energy, my resources, my time, and then it has to work. And then you tell yourself, I have to go to the office 6 a.m. and then you have to go to it 6 a.m. And you have to, when you promise people, then you promise them. And the self-discipline that will tell you not to take money from the business and spend. Any money you take, you separate the money between your money and the business money. And then personal control, hard work. So it's self-discipline that will tell you to do hard work. For example, a student come to class and some people decide to come early and some will decide to come 1 hour after the class. That's self-discipline. They choose to come because nobody forced them to come earlier than the lecturer. And those who choose to decide not to come early, they are not self-disciplined because they are waiting for somebody to tell them. For example, in a class, and you'd have to tell students, keep quiet, stop making noise. Those people are not self-disciplined. Those that are self-disciplined, they know the rule that in a class, the place students should not make noise. So in business, you should know who to recruit. Self-discipline will tell you who to recruit, who do you need, and it will tell you certain things, and you build certain culture that will make the business progress. And then the next one is handling stress and pressure. Of course, a lot of people are overdoing certain things. You overstress yourself, you work from morning till 12 a.m. every day, no rest. Body and flesh need to rest because if you crash down tomorrow and the business will stop. So handling stress is very important and pressure. Sometimes the people under serious unnecessary pressure, so they have to find a way to relax, to go for sports, to create some avenues of relaxation in a way. Off the job, when you're home, family issues, you talk to people, talk to your family, call your wife and live with her, and visit family, friends, and refresh. Sometimes you sleep, start during weekends, and so that you rest. And sometimes you just relax, find the means to handle those stress. Unnecessary burden, don't do everything yourself, delegate, try to find a way to delegate, transfer some level of authority to somebody, subordinate in order to do certain things that it mustn't be you. That's it. So people were able to transit and some of them are not able to transit. And those in the red, you can see some of the examples were not able to transit. And some in the green were able to transit. We've seen BJ Makeover, now she's gone. Adam Zangu is an individual who's started as a choreographer in the Hausa movie and now he's a musician. He's a full-fledged movie actor, a renowned one for that fact. So Yahuza Suya, we've seen it scaling up and having so many branches across the country. We've seen Mudasi Gallery opening bigger and bigger. We've seen Garba Garfi opening many branches. We've seen Alpine stores moving places. And we see MD Light Bread is everywhere now. They just come up on board, during this COVID-19 and now they are everywhere. We've seen Habib Yogurt scaling up. We've seen Rufida and a lot of them now in the market. What about Alamir Restaurant? There are no more simply because they cannot transit. We've seen them having so many branches, but all of a sudden just disappear. Santana Pure Water was the initial and first pure water in Kano, and now I had they went down, and now I had that they're coming up, even though the name has changed. So we've seen Murtala Suya trying to move, but then he was unable to move as fast as it's supposed to be. So we know he has only one branch, Krabaga, and he opened another one in BUK New Campus. I don't know if I've never seen any other of his branches. Sans Yogurt was very popular then, and Laziz Bread was very popular at that time, and now you cannot find them nowhere. Country Mall of all people came, and it was one of the big places in Kano where to go to visit as a shopping mall, and now it's gone. It's gone down. Dongoli stores, around Tarawni area, it came and it just within a short time it disappears. We've seen Khadija Bread and Region Zaki Axis by Jambulo, and we can't find it. Season 7 restaurant, we've seen it working, booming and booming, and today we cannot find it because they are unable to transit. So he asks these questions: what are they? What is it they are doing different? Those elements and those planning, self-discipline, and the rest of them, and perhaps help those that succeeded, and maybe prayers. So prayers really help. You work hard and then you pray. We are religious people. Yeah. So season 7 is there now. I saw it just 2 days ago. People are renovating. I don't know whether it's coming back to life, or they are listening, or they sold it off, or they are tilting their energy towards the event center they have inside before, even though now they have a lot of competitors around. Khadija bread, we've seen white light bread, almost closer. Now in Khadija bread, we're seeing pharmaceutical store where people are buying drugs and the rest. So stages of growth. Stage 1, for every growth there are stages. So the infancy startup, infancy at the early stage, just like human being. Infancy, you're crawling, you're trying to find a way to start, and then what is required at that early stage is creativity and learning. You need to be creative in doing the business. You need to be learning from your mistakes. You need to be learning from your competitors. You need to be learning from around the society. You need to be learning by engaging into training programs that will build your capacity in order to grow the business. And this is what is required at the first stage, what is infancy. So at that stage, and if it is in human, and that's when you start mentioning your father's name, mentioning so many things, crawling, start walking, and the rest of them. The second stage is growth stage, which is childhood. Needs direction. At that time, you're growing, and then you need to create a direction. What am I focusing my business towards? Who are my customers? And what industry will I focus? And which of the product or services I'm offering is giving me more revenue? And then you have to develop a means of boosting it and making it more and selling more and advertising and marketing more. So the third stage is the adolescent age, requiring effective delegation of responsibility. At this stage, it's coming up, and it requires a lot of control and focus, because at this stage, even in human, at the adolescent age, is very dangerous, and that's the wrong time where people venture all these bad habits and start smoking, start roaming about at that age because of peer group. So in business at this stage, you're required to delegate responsibility, because at this time the business is booming, is growing. If you're having 20 customers before, now you have 30 customers, you have 50 customers, you cannot manage them alone. It means the size is increasing, and so it would require a third party or somebody that can, an employee. If you are alone before, you need to employ 1 or 2 people to help you deliver the service or in the transaction of that business. So the fourth one is maturity stage. So at this maturity stage, it's assuming that you open branches, it's assuming the open subsidiary company, it's assuming that the business has grown very large in size, and therefore you need to be able to coordinate the functions, the activities of every branch. We have companies in Kano where the owners used to go around the branches every day, some of them more weekly, some of them quite monthly. They have to go around to see things and collect book, take records, balances, and check what transpired there, what transpired here. That's coordination, your ability to put all those energies together and channel them towards one goal and the vision of the entire company. So at these 4 stages, and the 5th one is growth by collaboration. At times, sometimes you start a business alone and you'll be doing wonderfully. However, you cannot just grow alone. Sometimes you have to collaborate with people. So growth by collaboration is very important. Where I put this, 2 heads are better than 1. You cannot do it alone. You can call your friend, you can call another company, you can partner, you can do so many all sort of arrangement with somebody to make it forward. Maybe that person has a lot of people, and maybe that person has a lot of resources, maybe he has a lot of expertise that if you put the head together, you build that synergy, and the company becomes great. So at this stage, company has grown beyond the maturity stage, and at this stage, it's opening, it's growing bigger. Companies like Dangote, companies like Bua, at this stage, you find them collaborating with other companies in order to move collaboration to serve domestic and global market, and that is why they are everywhere now, because they were not doing it alone. And initially they started alone, but later they realized they need to work with other people. So they engage firms, market firms, engage in resource sharing, outsourcing, and license, and they grant people the license to operate in another country or location, and then they contract some of the parts of the operations that they do before, and now they let people do it for them and they pay them. So this is this stage, collaboration is very important. And the next stage is growth through extra organization. And so extra organization is to maintain local and global dominance. Firms use merger and acquisition. For you to operate and to at this stage grow through extra organization is to restructure the ownership of your company. And we've seen companies in Kano merging, especially in the banking industry. Banks merge a lot of it during the recapitalization. 3 banks like Unity Banks, about 9 banks merged together through extra organization. And to maintain local and global dominance, firms use merger and acquisition. Some companies, they have to acquire local companies, take them over, and they operate. Their name, everything will go under. In this country, we've seen a lot when it comes to merger and acquisition in the banking industry. Recently, I just realized LG and Hisense TV, they collaborated. So, is it a merger? Is it a strategic alliance for temporary time? Or we don't know. So it's a typical example. And there are a lot of companies who can decide. Maybe Habib Rufaida Yogurt can decide to collaborate and merge in order to move their company forward. So they could acquire, one of them could acquire, Habib could acquire Rufaida, or they can merge and then they call it Habib Rufaida Yogurt. And so whatever name, Yahuza Mutala Suya, it could be a collab in the future. So so many things will happen. So at this stage, it's very important to extra organization to maintain local and global dominance. Firms. So business development, the STAR model. So startup, is generating cash. According to the model, at startup, the generating cash, gathering skilled labor for the business, product and marketing development, securing adequate inventory, and acquiring production technology. So at this stage, companies engage in all those activities I've mentioned. So the second one in the model is turnaround. So business restructuring and obtaining external advice, understanding all the wrongs make faster and bolder moves, remove unproductive activities, secure early wins, and make alliances. So when it's turnaround, re-engineering, bringing back to life, reinvigorating the business and making it stronger business. So turnaround is another in the model, and this is what it means. So accelerating growth. So at this stage is increasing in demand, and competition may trigger new product design, new technology, new professional staff, and team leadership. So we've seen a lot when it comes to the acceleration growth, especially in the mobile phone industry. Samsung every day coming up, Techno and the rest of them. And we've seen alliance when it comes to Sony and Sony Ericsson. They ally Sony and Ericsson. They come together as an alliance and then produce Sony Ericsson phone. So we have realignment, we have sustaining success. So all this in the model are very important. Realignment, trying to make some correction and adjust what you need to do to make. So planning transition. When your plan transition can be defined as the process of setting goals, targets, and developing strategies or approaches to accomplish them. So when you're planning for transition, you have to define a set of goals. This is what we want to be achieving every month, and this is what we want to be achieving every year in order for us to reach certain level in the next 2 or 3 years. And targets are evaluated every cycle to see whether performance is achieved or not. If it's not achieved, then you can review it. And in some companies, their targets are incremental budgets. So every year, whether you do it or you don't do it, they increase targets. And target will condition and it will guide you, would focus your attention towards a particular period, direction where you target a certain amount of money that you must realize from sales or marketing customers, a certain market that you must capture and whatnot. So all these things are involved in planning. So the success does not happen by accident. So most of the successful businesses, they just happen. And sometimes we say luck, sometimes not strategy. You have to do a lot of things in order for success to come. You do put your effort, you do the mappings, make the connections, put the resources, do the commitment, and do the work, and then you pray. So you pray for luck, and God will help you. You have the luck, and then things will work. So for ventures to grow and mature, there is the need for vision, strategic planning, business plan. So this is a strategic transition process, very difficult. I can cope. Yeah, you are happy you are starting. The anxiety is there. You want to open a business. You have that anxiety. You are happy at last something is going to change. Oh, I have made it. I have opened my shop. I opened my company. You are happy. And then suddenly and you start thinking, this is bigger than I thought. Well, when you start the business, you begin to wonder, what impact would this have? How will it affect me? Am I going to start big, and then fear will enter, and that fear will discourage you. Kai, this thing is too big. It's too big, and then you begin to you start denial. This is bigger. I cannot do it, and that fear, when fear emerges, then it becomes a threat, and you're scared. I cannot make it. I cannot make it. A lot of people want to start business, but they are afraid. So you guilt, and then you become so tired, and you cannot make it, and then delusion meant will just come in, and I'm off, and some people will give up at that stage. Majority of people will give up, and after giving up, and then depression will come in, and that's what's happening to our parents, especially people after retirement. They don't start anything, and depression will catch them, and before you know it, a lot of problems. So when at that stage, you'll be thinking you're moving towards hostility, or you take the gradual acceptance of the real situation and the real life. So I can see myself in the future. Yeah, perseverance and endurance, conquering the fear, and then you'll be able to proceed. And then when you gradually accept it, that I'm moving on, and then moving forward. So that's how transition is. But those are giving up, and they fall down to hostility. Will make this work if it kills me. And some people will feel, okay, I can do it no matter what it is, and that's a typical model describing business transition in your life. Most happenings follow this procedure. We've seen people, I'm sure some of you experienced with this model. When you look at it critically, it's going to show you some of the challenges when it comes. So decision making in business transition. Problem solving. A person or organization is defined by the choices made over time. Like I mentioned, decision making is very important. It's very, very important. Decision making. Decision making is the process of identifying and selecting a course of action to solve a specific problem. For decision making to result, I've discussed this before, but then I'm following it now. For decision making to result in an effective business solution, it should be guided by knowledge, processes, consultation, intuition, and experience. Controlling transition, and then control, like I said, entrepreneurs plan and pray, and they, however, do not leave their fortune to chance. They take control of their personal and business affairs. Business control is the process of measuring and correcting activities to ensure that plans are completed and goals are achieved. I've discussed this before, and then the next, personal discipline, is in transition. So people hardly secure their future without personal discipline. Self-discipline means adhering to good practices and looking at the best interest of your business. We discussed this before. You have to be personal discipline. You have to be self-discipline in order to carry your company to the next level. It involves doing what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you like it or not. So patience plus motivation plus determination is equals to self-discipline. Patience, motivation, determination, then it gives you self-discipline. Patience, your ability to endure. Motivation, having the courage. And then determination, perseverance, trying to endure whether good or bad comes, and then persevere, endure it will, and make sure and put it, be optimistic that you're going to make it, and then it gives you. So causes of business transition failure. So a lot of people find it very difficult to transit their business from small to large business. Choosing a business that isn't very profitable. Most times you choose businesses that are not profitable, and you find it very difficult. So without profit is the bloodline of business. When you don't make profit, there is no way a business can grow. So you have to make profit in order to transit your business. So inadequate cash reserve. Sometimes we squander and spend a lot of money, we don't save. So cash reserve is very important, and the business must be liquid in order for it to transit. Because when you have a lot of cash reserves, and then you'll be able to expand operations, you'll be able to exploit opportunities that might just come your way accidentally, and without cash, and that's why it's very difficult. So failure to clearly define and understand your market. Sometimes we start business, we don't know the market. Sometimes we start business simply because our friends are doing it. Sometimes we start business because our neighbors are doing it. And sometimes we start business because somebody just say, just start this business. You need to understand the market. You need to know what value are you taking to the market. Do they really want your product? Would they buy? Do they have the income to buy? Do they have the capability? Do they have the test of what you're offering? You have to understand your market. So people just start business without that. So customers buying habit. Sometimes, customers buying habit might affect your business transition difficulty. So when you fail to understand your market, and then you'll not be able to predict your customers buying habit, and that will lead you to a serious problem in business. So failure to price your product or service correctly. Sometimes we charge exorbitant prices. Sometimes we want to aim and make bigger profit at a short time. It's very wrong. You have to take slightly and gradual, and then you have to be smart when it comes to pricing. You have to incorporate every expenditure that you feel should be incorporated, and you don't just lower your price simply because you want people to buy. We've seen the case of Pop Cola, where it came into the market. It's not a market leader, but then it lowers its price, and now all the market leaders who has existed, who has fixed capital paid off, and now they are reducing their price. And then what strategy would Pop Cola take to defeat these people? Pepsi is dropping its price, Coca-Cola is dropping its price. So pricing is very, very important. So you have to be strategic when it comes to choosing price. Don't choose exorbitant price simply because you want to make profit. You can buy a commodity product, say 100 naira, and you want to make profit of 100 naira. So that's is too large. And sometimes it's better to sell. The turnover is very important, not just the price, the difference, the margin, but then how often, how quick would you be able to sell and go and buy again. So somebody will be charging 100 200 naira for a price, and somebody will be charging 150. Who goes to the market again for reorder? Of course the 150, because he can sell 3 times before that of 200 can sell a unit. So failure to adequately anticipate cash flow. So cash flow, liquidity of company, like I said earlier, is very important. You need to understand cash flow. And that is why there is a particular module that we'll discuss about cash flow management. It's very important. So cash flow is very important. How much money comes in and how much money goes out. You need to understand the flow. So the inflow should be bigger. It means the revenue should be bigger than the expenditure. And that will keep the company liquid. So when it comes to cash flow, banks, they always want to see your cash flow, liquid. How do you turn around money? How much balance do you have at the end of the day, every day? So it's very important to look. So failure to adequately anticipate cash flow, and failure to anticipate or react to competition, technology, or other changes in the marketplace. Of course, competition is a must, whether you like it or not. No matter how old your business, or no matter how small your business is, immediately you start, you will see your neighbor doing it. So that's competition. And there's nothing wrong. It's not haram. It's not forbidden. People are free to do any business they want to do. So you can't say simply because you start a business and your neighbor cannot do the same business. You don't have that power. So he has the right to do the type of business you do. So competition must follow you wherever you go. So you have to prepare for it and react to it. What is the reaction? Not to go and quarrel or fight with those people doing similar business with you, call them names and tell them they are envy, and just watch them, see what they do, they're not doing well, and then you capitalize and reduce or add quality, deliver it to those steps. So many strategies you can add to react to competition. And then technology, you have to key in into technology. If there are efficient means of producing something or delivering your services, key in into it, go into it, buy it, invest into that technology, and then that will help you. So all other changes in the marketplace, you have to follow the trend. You have to follow the trend of what is happening in the market. Then overgeneralization. Sometimes we used to assume that everybody is the same. Customers are different tastes, and that is why it's important to consider all the various tastes of customers' tastes, and then before you offer them, do not overgeneralize on certain issues, and you have to consider bit by bit, and every element must be given attention. So over reliance on few key customers. Sometimes when you rely too much on few customers, by the time they decide, oh, they are hungry, and then your business is in shambles. Your business is in big trouble. You will not be able to transit. By the time they opt out, those customers decide not to buy from you, and that's the end of the business. So never rely on few key customers. You can spray your tentacles, do a lot of marketing, and cover new more markets, and seek for new customers, and try to get loyal customers every day. Engage new customers in order to keep the business alive, because the customers you rely can disappoint you tomorrow. Because of one mistake you make, they might decide to quit dealing with you. So putting up with inadequate management. Sometimes we may assume that people are qualified, and we put the wrong people to manage the business. Is very, very, very dangerous. You have to understand and see the qualification. Forget about relationship. Somebody, can you deliver? Does he have what it takes to manage the business? Then it's very important to understand that. Even you as the owner, if you don't have any knowledge, seek for it. There are people who are expert, who can train, who can educate you, who can tell you the new ways of doing things, and then go to them. Never feel too big, never feel too shy to seek for knowledge in order to grow your business. So lack of experience of manager is very, very critical when it comes to business transition. So a lot of people are not experienced. You just hire them simply because they are your friends, or simply because they are graduate. It doesn't make sense. You have to understand what have they ever been engaged in such activities. You have to make the experience is an asset. So focus on it, and then that will help you transit your business. And the trap of failure. So poor cash flow management, absence of performance monitor, over borrowing and poor debt to management. When you borrow too much money, when you borrow everything you want to borrow from bank, and don't be surprised, your company will be liquidated. You cease to exist. You will not be able to scale to the next level. So a lack of financial skills and planning, failure to innovate. Innovation is key. Either you innovate or you die in today's business world, because new ideas every day are coming. Competitors are coming with new technology, and customers' tastes are changing. Everything, and government policies changing. They are not static. They are dynamic. They vary over time. So what is constant in business world is change. So you have to lack of innovation. You have to innovate and follow the trend. So poor inventory management, when you don't keep record and you don't take note of what is in the store and what need to be reinvented, need to be stocked again, and then you have to watch your store. So poor communication throughout the organization is key. When you don't communicate to customers, when you don't communicate in the ranks, subordinate seeing something is going wary, but you will not communicate to his boss simply because there are fracas in between them, and this is going to affect the business. Management seeing things going wrong simply because the MD is family or is a friend. You are afraid to talk to him, who is a brother to your wife. You are afraid to challenge him. All these things, lead to poor communication. So competition too can stop you from growing. So you have to react to it. You have to proact. You have to prepare for it, that it's going to come. It's a must. It's a must in business. Whether you like it or not, competition must come. Over investment in fixed assets. When you buy too much machines, that you keep them redundant. You keep them, they are not doing anything simply because you like them, or simply because you've seen another company really buying them, and then you go and buy them. It's very, very critical. Don't invest and don't tie down your money into fixed assets that are not useful. They are not productive. So personal use of business funds. You have to separate your personal money from business money. And anytime you borrow any money, you must refund it. Take it as a loan. Write it down so that and the most fundamental thing how to separate this is to give yourself salary in your business. Every month you pay yourself salary. It means that anything you borrow beyond that salary is you have to refund it, and even if it's within salary, you have to pay it. So and then and unexpected growth. Sometimes you just find a boom, maybe opportunity. Somebody is your friend, is in government, is giving you contract, and sometimes you just feel relaxed. So yeah, we are doing wonderfully. Sometimes just by accident, it will not continue. That's unproductive success. Sometimes you don't put no effort, and it just happen by accident. So you need to be careful. It might drive you to the wrong So stress and pressure in transition is very important. Stress is part of business world. When not managed effectively, it may cause various forms of ailment, including system breakdown, hypertension, stroke, and a lot of challenges people that are under stress experience this. Causes of stress: excess workload, poor management style, poor relationship at work, organizational change, restructuring, and lack of employee support. Entrepreneurs with clear vision, plan, self-discipline, effective control mechanism, manage relationship, and sincere tend to enjoy work and have minimal stress in their corporate work. So wrap up. According to Steve Jobs, this brings us to the end of this session. So according to Steve Jobs, I'm leaving you with this word. He said, believe that things will work somehow out. Just believe that since you're putting effort, things will come to you come to it one day. Follow your intuitions and curiosity. Of course, that curiosity will be taking intuition and thinking about how to make it happen. And then trust your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. Sometimes you have to trust your heart. A lot of people will say so many things to you, but then you have to talk to yourself. Talk to yourself and sleep over it. And then you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Of course, when you believe, and that will come true. So dreams come true when you believe in them, and you pray and you work hard toward them, it will come true. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. You have to like the business you do. You have to like what you do. When you have passion for it, when you develop passion for it, then you put all energy for it. If you haven't found it yet, then keep looking. Don't give up. You can try one, you can try A, you can try B, and you can try C, and then one day it will happen. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you will know when you find it. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary, according to Steve Jobs. So follow your heart. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. You know your dream. You know your aspiration. That's what it's saying. Everything else is secondary. Just push it. Push it to the end and try to be on your own. And let's meet. See you there when you get there. Thank you for listening, and do have a pleasant time. Thank you, and bye-bye.